Man, this is what men do. That's
I,
grooming.
I would encourage you to actually read about what grooming actually is.
That's not
What you're
grooming.
saying, I'm telling you what I'm telling you that
That's
it
not
is
grooming.
wrong. I'm telling you that it is wrong. Absolutely, grooming is a deeply psychological thing. Like it's
How is
not
that not
that is not
psychological?
that's not apples to apples.
How is that not psychological for a father to force his son to sleep with a 30-year-old woman as a rite of passage?
Can you describe the reward system that happens when a father does that? Can you, in Ray J's case, can you see substance abuse problems that arose, his unstable his history of unstable relationships,
So,
because his view on intimacy, this religious aspect that he's included in his sexual relationships with people, you see different implications because this woman
fair.
taught him.
Ray J was fucked up by a 30-year-old sleeping with him and messing with him. There's also dudes that came out of it that didn't grow up fucked up off of it. There's been dudes that's grown up fucked up off of their father forcing them to sleep with grown women, and there's dudes that haven't been fucked up by it happening to them.
I
Both
don't.
of them can yield either results, but
I
they're
just
both still the same thing.
I respectfully, if you understood what manipulation truly is, I think you're looking at it as these are the same thing. But when you look at manipulation and the psychological effects that it has on people, it is different. It's more nuanced. I'm still telling you that both are wrong. One thing I think we need to keep put in the context too: two situations, both are bad. A guy, let's say a father has his 14-year-old son and he forces him to sleep with a woman as his twisted way of having a rites of passage, turning his son into a man. I think we would all agree that that's wrong. What we need to take into account is grooming is a different thing. This is a psychological thing. Grooming is a predatory thing where it's systematic, to where the person that is grooming is slowly lowering the inhibitions of the person that is the victim by doing things to gain their trust, by functioning as a teacher and a mentor, teaching them a system of their version of right and wrong. This is how you do this. This is the consequences if you do this, in order to gain a psychological advantage over them. That's why later on in life you see a lot of people with problems with that trauma manifested itself in different ways, in very bad ways. Both of them are wrong. Both people should be locked up, but we have to also make sure that we know the context and the implications that both can have. So that young boy that his father did that to him, he may grow up and have more of a normalized, set of relationships and function in a different way because of his experience. But the person that was groomed, now they've been subjected to intense manipulation, gaslighting, and the grooming aspect of it, so they may function a different way in society. Both are wrong.
Well, both of them will be considered grooming. A father
Really?
that tells his son it's a rite of passage for you to go sleep with a 30-year-old woman is grooming. And he may be, oh, if you don't do it, man, you're a little soft ass little bitch if you don't do it. Man, this is what men do. That's
I,
grooming.
I would encourage you to actually read about what grooming actually is.
That's not
What you're
grooming.
saying, I'm telling you what I'm telling you that
That's
it
not
is
grooming.
wrong. I'm telling you that it is wrong. Absolutely. Grooming is a deeply psychological thing. Like
How is that not psychological?
that's not apples to apples.
How is that not psychological for a father to force his son to sleep with a 30-year-old woman as a rite of passage?
Can you describe the reward system that happens when a father does that? Can you, in Ray J's case, can you see substance abuse problems that arose, his unstable his history of unstable relationships,
So,
because his view on intimacy, this religious aspect that he's included in his sexual relationships with people, you see different implications because this woman
fair.
taught him.
Ray J was fucked up by a 30-year-old sleeping with him and messing with him. There's also dudes that came out of it that didn't grow up fucked up off of it. There's been dudes that's grown up fucked up off of their father forcing them to sleep with grown women, and there's dudes that haven't been fucked up by it happening to them.
I
Both
don't.
of them can yield either results, but
I
they're
just
both still the same thing.
I respectfully, if you understood what manipulation truly is, I think you're looking at it as these are the same thing. But when you look at manipulation and the psychological effects that it has on people, it is different. It's more nuanced. I'm still telling you that both are wrong, but both are not equal. Both
Both
they
of them
have
are
different.
grooming.
Both of
If
them
I
are.
tell if a father tells his son he has to sleep with a 30-year-old woman as a rite of passage, and the boy doesn't want to, but he does it because his father said that this is what men do, that's not grooming.
Okay, so let's go with your scenario and let's look at another scenario. A 35-year-old man is with a 14-year-old girl. He gains her trust by picking her up from school every day, by making sure that she eats, asking her how her day is going every single day. He slowly begins to become intimate with her by having her sit on his lap, giving extra long hugs, giving kisses that start off on the cheek but then slowly move to the mouth over time. And then it ends up getting to the place where she feels uncomfortable with it, but she doesn't want to disappoint him because he's being such a good person to her, that she begins to give into it. It slowly becomes normalized for her to where now he starts to escalate. Now he is saying, if you love me, you would let me urinate on you when we are intimate, because that is part of what we do. This is how you love a man. This is how you are supposed to treat the man that is inside of your life, that is your father figure, that is your boyfriend or husband or whatever it may be. Do you see the slow manipulation and escalation of events? That is grooming someone. You're grooming them into the person that you want them to be, how you want them to function psychologically. It is different.
The practice or preparing or training someone for a particular purpose or activity.
And Nelson,
no, the psychological definition.
I don't see it. Yeah, Nelson, nothing against what you're saying, brother. But that's not how I'm going to look at it. I'm not going to look at him grooming the woman grooming my 14-year-old son, or whether it was a one-off. It's a problem either goddamn way. And either way, I need the law to step in and to do what they need to do.
Wasn't that the first sentence I said though? That is both are wrong. Like I consistently said that at least 5 times. So why are you?
Brother, I ain't trying to fight you on. I'm not trying to fight
either. I'm just trying to make a point. Is they're both wrong, and they can both be different and both be wrong.
I understand.
That is my point.
But I'm talking about from a man who doesn't know, who doesn't have your knowledge. I'm just gonna see it from what I've seen. It. Yeah, motherfucker, you taking advantage of my son. Now the law better get you, because you don't want my type of law to get you.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You know what? Nelson. I grant what you said. That it's building up a trust. That one was building up a trust and all of that. But here's the kicker though. This father already has his son trust.
Does he?
Yes. If the father can tell him go sleep with a 30-year-old woman, he trusts that his father is right in what he says.
I hope you don't be telling this stuff in barber chairs and people's ears. You don't see the stark difference of how he.
No, I don't. I do not see the stark difference. I do not see the stark difference. No, I don't.
You know why?
Okay, so let's try to get some understanding what's going on. Let's try to get some understanding what Nelson is saying. Well, let's attempt. Go ahead, Kenny. Let me see what you're gonna say. So
I've been listening for a while, and he parsed it as for how there was a progression rather than a rational act in one moment. He showed the difference in leveling, and you're still there with your barbershop confessions to someone who's clinical that knows how to tell you exactly where it is. And I caught it, and I hope others did as for the difference. And you're still trying to argue him down, and the difference is there. And he put it in 2 different models, actually 2 to 3 different models for you.
That's a fallacy.
Look at. And you still bumping your head on the friggin' barber chair.
Yeah, because you're using a fallacy.
I think I see where Sweeney's going a little bit, because you could groom as a parent too. You could just start saying, "Hey, look at that. How you like that chick right there?" Then you could start showing them adult films, right? You could start getting them comfortable with the acts of sex, and then you could kind of manipulate them, coax them into it, get them hyped about it. And the reward system will be him having a son who he feels like is man enough, even though
Trev, you made a very
it's different.
good point. But the model was giving. Okay, so I'm trying to speak to Trev. Have some decorum. You spoke most of the night.
Yeah.
So Trev, I get what you're saying, but the model was giving a stark act. I'm snatching my son. I'm making him have sex. It wasn't a progression that built up to that. From the model that was given, it was a spontaneous act.
No, I get that.
I can't.
I get that.
I'll grooming. If you get where I'm going with that.
I know.
Like,
as far as that act right there,
I'm ready now. There was a progression to it. As for
so
the
if
model
it's the
that was given.
Got it. So if you go by what I just described, would you consider that grooming right there?
Yes, but the model that was given does not fit that what you just said.
And I think
like, I'm gonna
would you try both of them the same?
Right of pass. Okay, I'm gonna
would you try
grab
both
my
of them the
son.
same?
Okay, Jesus Christ. Let me try one more time.
Would you try both of them the same?
So a rite of passage. I'm gonna snatch my son. My son was not anticipating that. It was not no build up like I'm going on a field trip tomorrow and I got my clothes out and I'm happy and this, that, and the third. Like, yeah. No. He gave you the differences. The model that was presented, it differed. When Trev pointed out what he just did and he asked me what it was, I consider that grooming. Then we have the clinical person. So their studies can parse it out so that we can see it if we're willing to just not over talk and just listen to respond. See how he parses it out. He did it 3 times. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what he means here. I can see the differential for how he did it. So I digress.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm let me just say one thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nelson, on this. I saw another difference that I don't think anybody else saw. But the difference I saw was with the grooming in the other scenario. It's the person that was grooming. The thing that they were getting, the outcome involved their pleasure. The person that was constructing the grooming, the outcome led to them getting something out of it. Versus the father telling his son to go do this. He's not getting something out of it physically or anything like that or any pleasure. It's the kid.
Unless he's living it through him vicariously, right? Then that would be his reward.
Yeah, y'all are saying a bunch of different case by case types things, like the one scenario you described earlier that had no context, like a dad just telling his son to go and do this action and that's it. That's its own scenario, wrong, and needs to be addressed in a certain way. Another scenario where a father is slowly teaching his son what to do, making him watch porn or forcing him to have sex with random women and do different things and escalating things and teaching him this is what love means, like a way of manipulating his son to think the way that he wants him to think and behave the way that he wants him to behave. I'm trying to just impress to you that there's levels to it. We can't have a cookie cutter. It's not a cookie cutter answer to this. There's levels to it.
So Nelson, what you said, I think if we are approaching it from a good faith argument, it makes perfect sense. And I feel like that is to drive a point home, because I see where they're going. But like you said, you already said all of these things are wrong. You're just saying they're different paths to the wrong. So to argue you down on the point is different. I have another question for y'all though. If you saw signs that your son was looking like he was going to be effeminate and potentially gay, would you try and groom him to be straight?
Go ahead, Sweeney.
Absolutely. I say absolutely.
Wouldn't that still be grooming? How would you?
Would you do it though? I'm asking. It's a question.
No. Well, actually, no. I'm lying.
Ah,
I'll be
welcome
lying if I
home.
say- I'll be lying if I
Finally,
say-
it took us 2 hours to welcome you home.
Now, how does that disprove the whole?
Because
grooming
you
aspect
said
of it?
earlier that I changed my shit according to whatever. I don't know
So
what
how
term
would so if I wanted my son to be straight, does that mean that I have to have him go out there and force him to go out there and have sex with a grown ass woman for him to be straight?
Oh, come on.
Would that be the requirement, or
Now you
do I have to
going right
to
there.
force him to go out there and have sex with girls to try to groom him to be
We
straight?
had him.
Or would I sit there and be like, hey son, you don't like to play sports? You don't want to play basketball? Why you want to play dolls? Or why you want to dress like that? You don't want to wear this outfit? But it has to be sexual. I have to make him go out there and have sex. If that was the case, if I force my son to go out there and have sex, I'm just as culpable as far as grooming and it's just as bad.
Isn't that the
Just as
extreme
bad.
way to get your son to be straight?
Well, we're talking about grooming here. So I would assume that he was referencing some form of grooming him to be sexually active with women.
Could we acknowledge that no matter what, all parents groom their children in some form?
Sweeney?
Yeah, we do. So with that being said, so if a father tells his son that it's a rite of passage, he's informing him that you have to do this, son, because this is what you need to do to become a man. You're grooming him. Whether you groomed him in less than 5 minutes or over some years, it's still grooming.
Was all grooming bad?
That's a particular instance of grooming is bad.
So
Oh man,
you're allowing. I see where you're going with it. You're like posing questions, but Sweeney's trying to hammer down this point after it's been parsed through, and it's like beating a dead horse at this point in time because it's not for understanding. He just wants to be right.
I am right. I'm not guessing when I'm saying this.
I saw this an hour ago, man.
Right. I am right. I'm not guessing. That's grooming.
My God, Sweeney. Just stick to the stats, bro.
All right. Because
So-
so it's only grooming if a 30-year-old woman comes over and says, hey son, hey, you should do this with me because you want to be a man, right? Let me tell you how to bathe so you can be a man. But if a father comes and tells his son, hey man, you're only a man if you sleep with that girl, right? Now I know, yeah, she's 30 years old. You're gonna be a man if you do this. That's not grooming.
Let me answer that. We said it was grooming. But
so can we accept the fact that it's grooming?
We got to the point where whether it was good or bad.
That's bad grooming. You just groomed your son into being sexually assaulted.
You didn't ask us, was it bad grooming? You said, was it grooming? You see
and
how
we all determined that it was grooming, right? And then you said, well, let's figure out if it's bad grooming or good grooming.
If we can look up the definition, and grooming can have some positive connotation, because I think we argued about the term manipulation and indoctrination. So if we can go out on the record and say that grooming can have some positive outcome, then yes, I would agree that all parents groom their children. But whether it's bad or not, or good,
if a father grooms his son, if a father gets his son to sleep with a 30-year-old woman, that would be seen as the same type of grooming as if a 30-year-old woman got his son to sleep with her. It's still grooming.
The morals. It's based on the principles of the parents. If the parents have a cultural belief that things are this way, are naturally this way, then there's no way we can discount it because we're not the parent.
So if we saw a father make his son sleep with a 30-year-old woman and he says, hey, that's the way we do shit around here, we're going to sit there and be like, hey, I mean, the father said it was all good, right?
Look, I can tell you what I would do.
No, you would say the father said it's all good, right?
I can tell you what I can do, or you can assume what I would do.
I'm gonna assume because you just
what I
told
would
us
say.
what to do.
What I would tell you I would do is when he stated the term, "This is what we do around here," I would ask questions like, "Okay, where are you from? What cultural background?" And see if that can be substantiated and supported.
We in America.
You said, hold on. Okay, so now you want to move the goalpost, but I'm trying to answer you.
Are you fucking
I'm trying
serious,
to
man?
eliminate you moving the
Why
goalpost.
is it so? If it was a woman, would you sit there and ask her questions like,
my
"Hey,
God,
what country are you from?"
keep changing it up.
If it was a woman who did it to the little boy, you wouldn't ask no questions. You'd be like,
before we start, you do know every time you ask a different question, I gotta readapt my response
because
to
your
that.
logic don't make sense.
You're trying to win by changing your.
No,
You're like a
logic don't make
chameleon.
sense.
You know
Your logic
that every response to each question is going to be subjective to that
Culture
question.
don't matter in
When
this.
you find yourself losing by me answering, you immediately switch the whole question and try to seem like you winning. It's
Your
a
whole
psychological
premise.
tactic. I read that in the book. You
He
can't
don't
use
need
it
your
on me,
help,
bro.
Kenny.
Okay, Darwin, real quick. His whole premise fell flat a while back when he said all of us would be contrite with having our son sleep with an older woman. He spoke for all of us.
Bruce just said he had to ask the daddy context on why he would let his son sleep with a 30-year-old woman.
Sweeney,
he would not do that if it was a 30-year-old woman, right?
Hold on, Sweeney.
That's not what I said. I said I would ask the dad when he's made the statement from this is how we do around here. I will go try to figure out how he can substantiate that based on his culture and his background.
So the dad ain't going to jail because you need to figure out if what the dad did was bad or not.
Go ahead.
Because you got to figure out. You got to figure out what the dad did is bad or not. So you got to talk to the father, and you know that the dad just made his son get raped by a grown ass woman, but you need to sit here and figure out, hey man, what part of the culture do you have in your life that allows you to let 30-year-olds sleep with your son?
If the man said this is how we do things around here, where I'm from, my culture, whatever, then I gotta look at it. He's gonna be like, okay, this is written here. This is what we believe. This is our religion. And then I would be out of line by challenging a man and his family based on their cultural beliefs.
And that's a fact. So he wasn't wrong for asking if we're in America or not. Where in the diaspora are we? What country are we in?
I fear for our kids.
Is it their customs? You tried to shut that down, but you still didn't answer.
That's silly.
So when a while back when you said all of us would have been fine.
It sounds like y'all would be.
Okay, let me finish. You said all of the gentlemen on the panel would have been fine with their young son sleeping with the older woman. Didn't you? Did you or did you not make that assumption?
And I stand by it. I still think y'all would.
Okay. It's good. That's your POV, but that don't make it right. No matter how much you raise your voice, no matter how you try to change the paradigm of your questioning, because you've done that like throughout the whole night and tried to find different angles so somebody could slip into that quicksand.
And y'all did it. Y'all did it hook, line, and sinker.
You're good, but
every single time. Yeah, okay.
Every time I pointed up,
you can say that, but you did it hook, line, and sinker. Every argument that y'all made solidified my point. It's all good. It's all good. Because I just walked all this down and y'all proved my point time and time again.
You know what you proved? You missed this so much. Instead of
all right, I missed it so much.
The novels that you write in the back chat at like 3-4 in the morning when you should be asleep.
Oh, now we bringing up the back chat. Now we bringing up the back chat. See,
so
you know how this is what people do when they lose arguments.
Ready, set,
this is what they do when they lose. They start making ad hominem attacks and start bringing up the back chat.
Is that an ad hominem attack or a fact?
It's all good.
Gentlemen.
Just a fact doesn't make it not an ad hominem. It could be a fact. It could be ad hominem.
No, I could be in the back chat and I say,
so why are you bringing up me writing novels in our group chat as a thing to try to disprove my argument? That makes no sense.
No,
it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You fell for a hook, line, and sinker.
Wait. You asked me something.
JR, what's the next topic?
Did you not ask me something? Then you're trying to be the moderator. Wait. Didn't you just ask me something?
Ding.
And then
ring
you
the bell. This man is cooked, y'all.
Wait, you've talked for at least 3 hours.
He's cooked.
And it's only 2 hours in the. And I'm like, wait a minute. At the beginning of the stream,
he even brought up the whole barber thing. Talking about, oh man, you don't know shit behind the barber. You banging your head up against the barber chair. All ad hominem. That's what people do when they lose arguments. It's all good though. Ding. This man is cooked.
How I would be ignorant if I didn't give Case some points to add to that validity. As for you being long-winded,
there's no validity. Now you calling me long-winded.
Like I did. Hey, if y'all got like another 15 minutes, I did have one more topic I wanted to put up. And y'all cool with it? All right. Let me.
Did I lie?
I am long-winded, but that don't mean that it ain't ad hominem. I'm long-winded as shit.
So wait, ad
Yeah,
hominem.
go ahead and throw
I'm
that
lying
something
that
in,
you,
bro.
you don't leave
Hey,
full book reports in the back chat.
You got cooked.
I got cooked.
Yeah, bro, you got cooked. It's all good.
No, sir. Sweeney got cooked.
Both of y'all got, well, y'all, man, hey, both of y'all got barbecue
Sweeney,
today.
you
I'm
realize
not a
the
compliment.
majority of tonight, I just sat there and listened to your banter.